Let me start with something we need to get out of the way. If you're watching this and you're nowhere near these benchmarks I'm about to share, don't close the tab. Because here's what nobody tells you. The majority of 40-year-olds in America aren't hitting these targets either, not even close. I'm talking to you as someone who's looked at the actual data, not the highlight reel. And the gap between where the advice says you should be and where most people actually are, it's massive. So stay with me, because this isn't about making you feel inadequate. It's about giving you the real numbers, the context you need, and an actual path forward. Quick disclaimer, this is for educational and entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Neither am I a financial advisor. Consult a professional before making any financial decisions. Now, let's get into it. Age is not a finish line, it's a start point. Here's the uncomfortable truth that financial media gets wrong. 40 isn't some deadline where your financial life gets graded and filed away. It's actually one of the most powerful inflection points in your earning life. Think about it. You've got roughly 25 more working years ahead of you. That's longer than many people's entire first career. You have knowledge you didn't have at 25. You have professional relationships. You understand how industries work. You've made mistakes and learned from them. The person panicking at 40 because they're behind is looking at this all wrong. You're not at the end of the race. You're at the point where you finally have enough experience and earning potential to actually make serious moves. The 22-year-old with perfect habits is impressive, sure, but the 40-year-old who gets serious, that person is dangerous. That person can compress a decade of growth into 5 years because they know what actually matters now. Social media versus reality. Let's address the elephant in the algorithm. Social media has completely destroyed our sense of what's normal. You scroll through LinkedIn and everyone's a VP at some tech company, selling their third startup or posting about their real estate portfolio. Instagram is full of people your age, retiring early, traveling the world, living in minimalist houses that somehow cost $3 million. Here's what the actual data says. The median net worth for Americans in their 40s is around $76,000. Not the average, the median. Half of all people in their 40s have less than that. The average is $743,000, but that number is completely skewed by the top 10% who have serious wealth. The person posting about their investment portfolio on social media, they're the outlier, not the standard. The median 401k balance for people in their 40s is $38,600. The typical 40-year-old earns about $71,000 a year. These are the real numbers. This is actual America, not the curated version you see online. So, when you feel behind, understand what you're actually behind compared to. You're comparing yourself to a fiction. The real benchmark is much more achievable than you think.
All right, let's talk about what financial planners and economists actually recommend you should have by 40. I'm giving you the ideal targets, but I'm also going to give you the reality check alongside each one. Benchmark 1. Net worth of 3x your annual salary. If you earn $70,000 a year, you should have roughly $210,000 in net worth. That's everything you own minus everything you owe. Your home equity, retirement accounts, savings, investments, minus your debts. Reality check. Only about 25 to 30% of 40-year-olds actually hit this number. The median net worth is closer to 1x annual salary for most people at this age. Benchmark 2. Retirement savings of 3x your salary. Specifically in retirement accounts, 401k, IRA, Roth accounts. So on that same $70,000 salary, that's $210,000 saved for retirement. Reality check. The median 401k balance at 40 is $38,600. The average is about $370,000. But remember, that's skewed by people with massive balances. Most people have far less than the 3x benchmark. Benchmark 3. Emergency fund of 6 months expenses. Not 6 months of income, 6 months of expenses. If you spend $4,000 a month, that's $24,000 in accessible savings. Reality check. According to Federal Reserve data, about 37% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing or selling something. The idea of a 6-month emergency fund is aspirational for most people at 40. Benchmark 4. Home ownership if you want it. The traditional milestone says you should own a home by 40, ideally with at least 20% equity built up. Reality check. The median age for first-time homebuyers hit an all-time high of 40 in 2025. That's not when people have equity built up. That's when they're just buying. Only about 65% of people in their early 40s own homes at all. And given interest rates and housing prices, many intelligent people are choosing to rent strategically. Benchmark 5. Clear career trajectory and peak earning potential. By 40, you should be in your peak earning years or clearly on the path to them, with specialized skills that command higher compensation. Reality check. Median earnings do peak in the 45 to 54 age range at about $71,600, but the increase from age 35 to 44, about $70,500, is minimal. Many people plateau earlier than they expect. Career pivots at 40 are increasingly common and often necessary. Now, let me talk to where you actually are, not where some blog post says you should be. Maybe you spent your 20s and early 30s just surviving. Maybe you were paying off student loans that felt like they'd never end. Maybe you were underemployed during the Great Recession, or you were one of millions who lost jobs or income during the pandemic. Maybe you supported family members. Maybe you made a career choice that was meaningful but not lucrative. Maybe you got divorced and split assets. Maybe you had medical issues or mental health challenges that made traditional career progression impossible. Or maybe you just didn't know. Nobody taught you this stuff. Personal finance isn't taught in schools. Your parents might not have known either. You made the mistakes you had the information to make at the time. Here's what I want you to understand. Being behind at 40 doesn't mean you failed. It means you lived through the most economically volatile period since the Great Depression, in an economy that has fundamentally changed how wealth is built, with less institutional support than any previous generation had. The script got flipped on you. Housing costs have increased 180% since 2000, while median wages increased only 30%. Education costs tripled. Healthcare costs exploded. The pension system disappeared and got replaced with a 401k system that puts all the risk on you. And somehow, you're supposed to feel bad that you didn't navigate this perfectly. That's not fair, and it's not accurate. You're not starting from zero at 40. You're starting from experience. Now, let me show you the actual mathematics of why you're not doomed. Let's say you're 40 with essentially nothing saved, zero in retirement accounts, net worth near zero. You earn $70,000 a year. You're thinking, I needed $210,000 saved by now, and I have nothing. I'll never catch up. Here's the math that gives you hope. If you can save 15% of your gross income starting now, that's about $10,500 a year or $875 a month, and you get a 7% annual return, which is conservative for a stock-heavy portfolio over 25 years, you'll have approximately $675,000 at age 65. Is that as much as if you'd started at 25? No. If you'd started at 25, you'd have about $1.5 million with the same contributions. But $675,000 is still a functional retirement with Social Security. It's not poverty. It's not failure. It's a real retirement. Now, let's say you can increase that to 20% of income, $1,177 a month. Now you're at about $900,000 at 65. That's a comfortable retirement for most people. Here's the multiplier effect. Every $100 more you can save turns into roughly $76,000 more at retirement. Every $100 matters exponentially. And this assumes your income stays flat, which it probably won't.
If your income grows, even modestly, over the next 25 years, and you save raises rather than spending them, these numbers increase dramatically. The math is forgiving if you start now. It's not forgiving if you wait until 50.
The acceleration strategy. Okay, you understand you can catch up mathematically. Now let's talk about how to accelerate beyond the baseline. Strategy 1. Income focus over expense cutting. Everyone wants to tell you to cut your daily coffee. That might save you $1,500 a year. Important, sure. But you know what's more important? Increasing your income by $10,000 a year. At 40, you should focus 80% of your financial energy on earning more, not spending less. This means negotiating raises aggressively, switching jobs strategically. Job hoppers earn 50% more over their careers. Developing high-income skills, freelancing or consulting on the side, or starting a small business in areas where you have expertise. You have professional credibility now that you didn't have at 25. Use it. This is your peak leverage point for income growth. Strategy 2, the nuclear savings phase. Here's an unconventional take. Consider going nuclear on savings for 2 to 3 years. Not forever, just a focused sprint. This means extreme optimization, cheap housing, even if that means roommates or moving in with family temporarily, minimal discretionary spending, driving a paid-off car into the ground, no vacations, no restaurants. It sounds miserable, but it's temporary. If you can save 40 to 50% of your income for even 2 years, you can build the foundation that makes everything else possible. You can fund your emergency fund, max out retirement accounts, and create momentum. Then you ease back to 20 to 25% savings and maintain. This works because it's time-bound. You're not signing up for austerity forever. You're doing a 2-year sprint to catch up. Strategy 3, optimize the big 3. Don't optimize coffee, optimize housing, transportation, and food. These 3 categories are 60 to 70% of most people's budgets. Housing. Can you house hack? Rent out a room? Move to a lower-cost area while keeping your job remote? Refinance your mortgage? Transportation. Can you go down to 1 car, use a bike or transit? Buy a 3-year-old Toyota instead of a new car. Food. Can you meal prep instead of eating out? Use Costco strategically? Cut restaurant spending by 75%? Optimize these 3 and you don't need to micromanage anything else. Strategy 4, retirement account maximization. This is non-negotiable if you're behind. You need to max out your 401k or 403b. That's $23,500 a year in 2025. If you're 50 or older, you get catch-up contributions of another $7,500, total of $31,000. Can't afford to max it out? Get as close as possible. Every $1,000 you contribute now is worth roughly $5,400 at retirement with compound growth. This is your highest return investment. Use Roth accounts if your income allows it. Roth 401ks and Roth IRAs grow tax-free. At 40, you likely have 25 years of tax-free growth ahead of you. That's incredibly powerful. Strategy 5, skill stacking for income. You don't need to go back to school for 4 years. You need to stack high-value skills that compound. If you're in tech, learn AI, ML applications for your field. If you're in marketing, learn data analytics and automation. If you're in operations, learn process optimization and project management. The goal is to make yourself a 90th percentile earner in your field within 3 to 5 years. This might mean you go from $70,000 to $100,000 to $130,000 over 5 years. That income growth, if you save the increases, is worth more than a decade of budgeting.
The traps to avoid. Now let me tell you what will derail you, because these are the mistakes I see constantly. Trap 1. Lifestyle inflation. This is the big one. You finally start earning decent money at 40, and you immediately inflate your lifestyle to match. Bigger apartment, nicer car, better restaurants, more travel. You earn 20% more, and somehow you're still broke. You have to break this cycle. When you get a raise, bank it. Save 100% of raises for the first year. This is how you catch up. Trap 2. Thinking you'll make it up in real estate. Real estate can be part of your wealth building. It should not be your only strategy for catching up.
Too many people think they'll buy investment properties and retire rich. Most people don't have the capital, knowledge, or risk tolerance to make this work. If you don't have your retirement accounts funded and emergency fund built, you're not ready for investment real estate. Do first things first. Trap 3. Getting divorced. Look, I know this sounds like life advice, not financial advice, but divorce at 40 typically sets both people back 5 to 10 years financially. Split assets, legal fees, 2 households instead of 1, destroyed momentum. I'm not saying stay in a bad marriage. I'm saying if your marriage is salvageable, the financial cost of divorce is enormous and often underestimated. Get counseling. Fight for it. The financial implications alone are worth the effort. Trap 4. Waiting for perfect timing. I'll start saving seriously when I pay off this loan. I'll invest when the market pulls back. I'll negotiate for a raise after my next review. Stop waiting. Perfect timing doesn't exist. Start now with whatever you can do today. $50 a month is better than $0 a month while you wait for conditions to be perfect. Trap 5. Following get-rich-quick schemes. At 40, you're in the danger zone for this. You feel behind, you're desperate, and suddenly crypto or day trading or MLM or some guru's course looks appealing. Don't do it. You don't have time to recover from get-rich-quick schemes that fail. Boring index funds, consistent contributions, and income growth. That's what works. It's not sexy, it works. All right, you've got context, you understand the math, you know the traps. Now here's your actual 6-step plan. Step 1. Do a complete financial audit. Week 1. Sit down and document everything. Every account, every debt, every asset, every expense. Use Mint, YNAB, a spreadsheet, whatever, but get the full picture in one place. Calculate your net worth. Calculate your savings rate. Calculate your debt-to-income ratio. You can't fix what you can't measure. Step 2. Build a starter emergency fund, months 1 through 3. Before you do anything else, save $2,000 in a high-yield savings account. Not for retirement, not for investing, not for anything except emergencies. This stops the debt spiral. This prevents you from putting the car repair on a credit card. Get this done in 90 days. Step 3. Maximize employer 401k match, immediate. If you're not getting your full employer match, you're leaving free money on the table. If your employer match is 6%, contribute at least 6%. Do this immediately. This is a 100% instant return on investment. Step 4. Eliminate high-interest debt, months 1 through 12. Anything above 7% interest needs to go. Credit cards, personal loans, certain car loans. Attack these aggressively using either the debt avalanche, highest interest first, or debt snowball, smallest balance first method. Do not invest in a brokerage account while carrying 22% credit card debt. The math doesn't work. Step 5. Build to 3 to 6 month emergency fund, months 6 to 18. Once high-interest debt is gone, build your emergency fund to cover 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. This is your financial foundation. This is what keeps you from going backward when life happens. Step 6. Maximize retirement contributions, ongoing. Now you start the real wealth building. Max out your 401k, $23,500 a year. Max out your Roth IRA if you're eligible, $7,000 a year. If you can do both, you're saving $30,500 a year tax-advantaged. Can't do both? Contribute 15 to 20% of gross income split between them. Increase by 1% every quarter until you hit the max. Invest in low-cost index funds. Target date funds are fine. Don't overthink this. The S&P 500 has averaged 10% annual returns over the long term. You don't need to be smart, you need to be consistent.
Here's what I need you to understand as we close this out. You're not too late. You're not too far behind. You're not broken or failed or hopeless. You're 40 years old with 25 working years ahead of you. That's enough time to build real wealth if you start now. Not generational wealth, maybe. Not private jet wealth. But financial security, comfortable retirement, options, freedom, that's absolutely achievable.
The difference between someone who retires broke and someone who retires comfortable often isn't that one was smarter or worked harder or got lucky. It's that one started taking it seriously at 40 and the other kept waiting for the perfect time that never came. You have everything you need. You have time. You have earning potential. You have the knowledge now of what matters and what doesn't. You've made the mistakes that teach you what not to do. The question isn't whether you can catch up. The question is whether you'll start today.